Oh, good evening, everybody. And look at that. Would you believe it? It's me who's talking first tonight. Very warm welcome. It is day 4 of the William Hill World Darts Championship. And this is the Fallout Bar being brought to you by our friends at BoyleSports, the greatest betting company on the planet. And anybody who watched Thursday night's show will remind me that I need to remind myself that I say BoyleSports. Make sure that you go and sign up to them and make sure you're betting with them throughout the World Darts Championship. Jonathan alongside you to talk through some darts that's happened today. Apparently, there's been a lot of darts going on. Not much to talk about after a day that's followed, just the Michael van Gerwen going through to round 3 in a decent scrap, and the second 9-darter within 12 hours. Jack Gobber-Garwood, Cam McFarlane joins us on the show. Gob, we'll start with you this evening, having a welcome break, I'm sure, from hosting the show tonight. First of all, I wasn't on last night, but what a night it was, and we repeated the feat. You wait for nearly 9 months for a 9-darter on telly, then 2 come along at once.
Firstly, you weren't on last night because I demoted you. I relegated you for the night for your bad actions the night before. You were serving a suspension, if you like.
And also the fact that I was with my partner as well before she flew out home back to Ireland. We'll gloss over that.
Yeah, it's far funnier when I just give you abuse and you just sit there and take it.
We've always said this.
Yeah, and then, another 9-darter, this time in vain. It wasn't quite the same. It was to win a set, not quite to win the match. A little bit different in that regard. Didn't really get a lot else from that match from that certain person. Lavanevskis, after producing that, struggled to really do a great deal else.
Yeah, let's be frank about it. Darts was not good on the doubles. We will come on to that in just a moment. Cam, welcome back, my friend, from night 1. We are on night 4. Your thoughts overall on a day that really hasn't been full of drama? Let's be frank about it.
No, not really. Other than the 9, which I kind of wrote on the preview this morning, they had something to live up to after the night before. I didn't think they would live up to it quite in the fact that we'd get another one so soon, but it was good to see. Didn't really follow it up from there though, did he? And yeah, there was not really much close action at any point today, was there? Yeah, really. It was a bit. It all kind of went how we thought it would go.
A couple of games threatened it. The opener in particular threatened to be a good scrap.
Yeah,
it was a good scrap nonetheless, to be fair, even at 3-1, but you wouldn't have been disappointed if that had gone all the way.
Yeah, just kind of threatened for moments, like the Ted Everts, Jim Williams game kind of threatened it for a little bit when Everts finally hit a double after about
break out into a dart
hours of missing doubles. But yeah, other than that, though, there wasn't a lot really.
Scott Mitchell's probably watching that performance of the first 2 sets of Everts going, oh, someone else can't throw doubles, but we will we will come on to that.
I think he actually beat Scott's efforts, I think.
Yes, he did, definitely. Right, so let's talk about the games of this afternoon. We'll start with the afternoon session, everybody, and then we're going to come on to talk about MVG last of all. Normally, we'd talk about this first of all, obviously, because it was a really good game, but we're hoping and praying that Philip Bars, who's interviewing Michael van Gerwen as we speak, drops us a clip of him in the show. Before we get going, please make sure that you do subscribe to this channel as well. It massively helps us. We have now got to 18.3k subscribers. Are we potentially going to get to 18.5 before the break? Potentially, definitely. So anything that, if you are watching us for the first time, hello and welcome. If you're watching us, there's a lot of people are in the chat room who are regulars to the show. Juanita watching us from Australia. Normally we'd say hello to you, but you're bashing us currently in the cricket, so
yeah, but she did say like the stream. Can I just pull you up before we say hello to any more? Is possibly definitely your own version of Oasis? Is it definitely maybe? Is that what it was?
What was that, sorry?
You just went possibly definitely we're going to get to 18,500. I was like,
it's been a long day already.
Like, definitely maybe we're just throwing obscure Oasis references around once more.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Gallagher's not playing again, is he? You're not starting that.
Louis van Gaal.
Back at Q School, hopefully.
Louis van Gaal says, "What's up, guys? Is it the Louis van Gaal's army bloke? Is it actually that bloke? That's that's there. If it is, fantastic stuff. Good evening, Mike, as well in the chat room. Good evening to GW Wayne Collins in the chat room as well. Matthew Macy's there. Brandon, Jamie, Terrence, Malachi's there as well. Rose is in. A very, very warm welcome to you all. We will come on to Mr. Raymond Smith in just a little bit, but let's talk about that 9 darters to start with, gentlemen. Cam, the moment that everybody thought, it's still being talked about now, Willie Borland's thing, 9 darter, has been viewed over 5 million times on the PDC Twitter feed alone. That doesn't include Sky Sports' one as well. 5 million people. And you just thought, well, that's the drama. Game of the tournament sorted. And while it's game of the tournament, you thought, we're never going to get another 9. We very rarely get 2 in the same tournament. We get 2 in 24 hours.
Yeah, not even 24 hours. I mean, 12, 15 hours, whatever it was not very long between them. And yeah, like I say, a bit like buses, we weren't expecting 2 to come along so quickly. It wasn't quite as exciting as the one the night before, which was just unbelievable. There's never been anything of the like. Never seen anything like. There hasn't ever been anything of the like before in our sport. But the one today, it was a really good leg from him, and it kind of just came too early in the match, if anything, probably because he struggled to live up to that again after that point. One thing I did pick up on when I was watching it was just the fact that the excitement of trying to hit the 9 when he came back for that last visit for the 147, every single dart was probably about the same amount from the bottom right edge of the bed on all 3 darts. I don't know whether that was slightly offline on where he was, but he was still good enough to get them all in the bed.
Thing is, I don't appreciate we've had 2 9 darts in the same day before you come and jump in, of course. Terry Jenkins and Carl Anderson. I could see what you were telling.
It's not even that. This is the 3rd time. I got offered a trivia question earlier about the 2009-2010 PFA Team of the Year. And my response to that was to offer who has hit a World Championship 9 darter. This is the 3rd time we've had 2 9 darters in the same World Championships. One more would be the record. We've never had 3.
Oh, interesting. Well, thank you very much for that stat of the day. Really do appreciate your time. Moving on quickly. Moving on off of the Lavanevskis 9 darter. That was the highlight of what was, let's be frank about it, a pretty poor performance, particularly on the outer ring for Lucky D, and Mike De Decker taking advantage of an opportunity that was presented to him by Charles Losper. And now into round 2, but I thought a really poor performance in the end, really, from Lucky D, personally.
Great from me. Sub-90 averages between the pair. Look, there's been a lot of talk about how good the standard of this year has been. I feel it's been a little bit scrappy. There's been some games that have been really good viewing. But obviously, the larger they make this field, the more they keep expanding this tournament, the more you're going to get the odd game where players are just not producing that 95, 96 average that we see so often on the floor and on the Pro Tour. Obviously, you have to take into account how recently some of these guys have played in front of a crowd, especially one of this size. It's only really been since, March, April, since they started letting fans back into a large part of darts as well. So, and look, there's a bloody good chance that they don't get to see it after Boxing Day as well at this rate in the country. So, make the most of it while you can, guys. But yeah, look, without being disrespectful, it wasn't the best performance from either. But Mike De Decker, as you say, taking advantage of that late call up due to Charles's withdrawal, and he's into the next round.
And the big news as well is that with that, he has pretty much kept his tour card with that win as well. So a big result there for Mike De Decker. In fact, let's hear from him after that victory over Darius Lavanevskis, speaking in his press conference.
I think Steve has a lot more experience than I do, because it's his 31st Worlds. So he'll be able to cope with the crowd and the booing, and because it's going to happen. So he's experienced enough to block that out and play his own game.
He's talking there, Cam, about, obviously, there's a certain Queen of the Palace returning to the World Darts Championship, which I'm sure
she's not back tomorrow. I haven't seen any adverts for that.
They should definitely have mentioned it on Sky at some point.
to be fair, I thought that she'd again be changed to Friday, given the state of the talking that they were doing at that point on Friday afternoon. They didn't even mention the fact there were 4 games going on in the afternoon. It was all talking about Fallon Sherrock. There's another thing that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on about Michael Van Gerwen and Sky
I bet you are.
Here we go.
I need to, and I've got a lot of stuff that needs to get off my chest at this point. Cam, moving on though, talking about this, the fact that he can come back from that defeat to Fallon Sherrock when she won 5-0 as well, by the way, and he's come back and won this game today, and now saved his scorecard. That shows the character that you need in order to try to make it onto the PDC top 64.
Definitely, and we all know he can play better than he played today as well. Today for him was about getting a result, and especially up against someone who's won the first set against him, fired in a 9. He's gone out there and he's not the best sort of scoring game in the world. He's only averaged about just under 90, but he was pretty solid on the outer ring. He was just over 40%, I think. Pretty good under pressure when he needed to be, and never really looked in bother other than that first set.
Right. Quick question from Marcus. Can someone tell me why Ravage on Rodriguez is ahead of Scott Waits on the scorecard race? They're both on 45k. I will tell you the reason for that when we get onto Ravage on Rodriguez's match, and we'll explain it then, Marcus. So hold fire. We will come back to that question a little bit later on. But, Gob, let's touch on the first game of the day. And Raymond Smith, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about Raymond Smith coming into this World Darts Championship, but I do know a lot about him now. The Aussies are taking over, not just on the cricket field, but on the darting stage as well in London. A very, very good win against Jamie Hughes.
I think we've got 5 of them in this year's tournament, which is an absolute record. And obviously the intriguing subplot that when we look ahead to tomorrow, Raymond's son is opening up the action tomorrow afternoon. We all thought we would see a father-son combination at the World Championships, given Steve and John Brown's tour cards this year, but we've actually got it from the complete opposite side of the world. This was one of the most impressive performances of the day for me, because Jamie Hughes was not poor by any stretch of the imagination. Has struggled with injury earlier in the year, but has come back firing. He looked sharp. He looked pretty good in that match. Raymond Smith was excellent under pressure on some really good finishing. Jamie Hughes a little bit unlucky in his last couple. I don't think he's won at the World Championships in his last 3 appearances, and they've always been pretty good performances against Yoza, and this was just another case of that.
Well, bar last year, because he was dealing with an injury against Adam Hunt, apart from that. But I totally agree. A word on Raymond, though, Cam, because he came back after the World Championships in 2019, lost to Alan Tabwin in a really close affair, and he has been very, very good as well at the Brisbane Darts Masters before. He's obviously beaten Michael Smith there before he was knocked out of before Peter Wright. I don't know, Jamie, it's a big question whether it is the record. But
It must be.
It has to be, surely.
One of them will be miserable now. I don't know when it's going to be, but there'll be panic on the streets of London if there's any more.
That was already happening today.
Yes, correct. But going back to Raymond, though, Cam, especially with everything that's going on in Australia at the moment, how difficult it is to get out of that country to come and play in the World Darts Championship, this was a sensational effort from Raymond Smith. And now I think he's got a decent shot in his second round game, personally. If he plays like that, definitely, against Devon Peterson, who is in no form whatsoever.
Well, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? I mean, Devon isn't the Devon we saw 18 months ago, where he was looking like he was hitting some really good form, he's firing loads of 180s and looking like he was unbeatable. I mean, I'll probably be tempted to say if Raymond Smith plays like that, then he probably wins 3-1 again against Devon, the way we've seen Devon playing recently. He was really, really good under pressure. And like I say, it's a big thing just to be able to get over here for him to come and play. It's not easy. It's not difficult. But I hope he doesn't go too deep into the tournament, just because the more we have to keep mentioning Australia, the more we keep mentioning the other sport that's going on with England and Australia at the moment. And I just don't want to talk about it.
That's fair. It's definitely a fair point. Raymond Smith is one of the contenders for Player of the Day today that you can vote for in our poll if you are watching live. If you're voting as a podcast, and another reason to join us live every day straight after the World Darts Championships finished. But Raymond Smith currently and Ravage on Rodriguez going up against each other. As the Wolf is in the chat room, good evening, Niall. Hope you are doing well, buddy. Before we move on and hear from Raymond, that's a good question, Jamie. Yay or nay on a beer? Personally, I quite like it, but at the moment, I just wouldn't like to meet Yozza down a dark alley if he's looking like that, basically.
I think it makes him look more menacing rather than anything else. He looks really scary.
Yes. Cam, you going with it? Yes or no?
Yeah, well, I think. I mean, we always want people to have a bit of edge and like bring a bit to it and look like they actually mean business. So yeah, let's have it. I'll have the beard.
I was just waiting for you to criticise somebody's facial hair with that. Mine's terrible, I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, out of the three of us,
this doesn't normally exist. This could just go. Cam keeps his all year round.
Well, to be fair, it is just thicker, that bit of my beard. Like the rest of it's all the same length. I cut it on the same length, but it just is what it is.
Well, let's talk about
grooming companies watching. Sponsorship is available.
Yeah. Let's get Manscaped on or something.
As if they're not enough places.
I know.
But our sponsors are great. BoyleSports. Make sure you bet with them. Here's Raymond Smith talking after his press conference after beating KBQ.
Yeah, I can play a lot better than that. I have been playing a lot better than that. And, I don't want to say too much, but I know Devon's got some nightmares about Australia. So, but at the same time, he's been playing so well of late. So, yeah, look, I've got another couple of gears to step up. Obviously, he's playing better than he did. So, I'm not scared of anyone that's in the draw. But, he's going to have to play well.
I'm guessing even though time difference, you enjoy the cricket.
Yes. To be fair, I'm loving the cricket. It's going so well. I was trying to be magnanimous, but stop it. We're playing so well.
I'm not listening. To that.
We really should watch these before we let Barzi put them on the show. In other news, him saying he's got more gears to go after a 94 average in a proper good battle. Worrying for everybody else, considering the part of the draw he's in, I think.
I was just about to bring this up, gentlemen. In that second part of the draw, which is wide open, which has seen the first and so far only seed fall in Krzysztof Ratajski, who someone on this show believes is a different animal on television throughout the entire year. But no,
he is not a better one.
Well, anyway, moving on.
Evolved into a beautiful butterfly.
The Polish pigeon.
The Polish pigeon now. Anyway, moving on. In that section of the draw, we always seem to see someone come through who we didn't expect to see. Normally makes one hell of a run. I'm not suggesting that Raymond Smith is going to automatically go and do that, but third, fourth round? Potentially. I think Dibby's in trouble regardless of who wins tomorrow.
That's the thing. If one of the Germans beats Dimitri, that part of the draw is very, very open. You lost the 5th seed. You've lost the 12th seed. Potentially going up against the 28th seed, who has not had a good year by his own admissions. He was on the live lounge the other day, was very honest about his form, said he was hoping to get a few things right for the Players' Championship. Saw a little bit of an improvement, but not a massive one. He was on the main stage for that as well. Raymond, if he's got more gears to produce, possibly even go in his favourite from our point of view. And then you've got Steve Lennon, Mervyn King, or Ryan Joyce. None of them are going to go berserk, I don't think. They're going to be what you'd expect from a James Wade type performance is the best way to describe it. Mid-90s, a good percentage of doubles, which means if Raymond produces what he's just done consistently, he can very much find himself in a quarter-final.
Yeah. I mean, I love how you've managed to shoehorn James Wade into a show where he's not played today and he's not playing tomorrow, but
A, he's in this part of the draw, and B, that is the James Wade performance. There's no other way to describe it.
He's part of the second quarter. I'm allowing that. Normally, I wouldn't be, but I'm allowing that.
I ain't got a choice. I'm producing. I'll just give you that boot.
Good point.
The buttons.
Let's move on very, very quickly to talk about Callan against Yuki Yamada, the other round one game in that session. And God, let's be honest about this. After the first set, which was by Callan's own admission, pretty poor. The second and third didn't really give it much. There wasn't much coming back at him. Let's put it that way. 2 of 18 on the checkouts for Yamada. Darcy's nicked good.
Well, no, but that is the issue. 2 of 18, he's still average. Well, let's say still average. He averaged 83 in doing so. He is a player that, look, technically he's pretty sound. He's one that would definitely benefit from playing on the tour full time. Obviously, there has been an absence of the Asian tour this year, which obviously cost a lot of those players that will be involved in this event. Yuki, Yamada, Lawrence Alagan.
Give me more Lawrence Alagan. Give me more Lawrence Alagan.
No Asian tour this year, so they haven't really had any competitive practice. And then you look at the difference in the year that Callan Rydz has had. He went in big favourite. He produced a professional performance. Like you said, not a lot coming back at him, but we know he's got more gears. And actually, it's a little bit more difficult to just keep your foot on someone's head when they're not really chucking anything back at you, especially with the amount of chances that Yamada is offering back up against him. So, yeah, look, just job done from Callan Rydz, who now goes above Chris Dobie in the world rankings, which he was very, very delighted about.
Certainly was. Big game coming up, though, for him, Cam, against Brendan Dolan. That could be a really good scrap. Really excited for that.
It could, yeah. I mean, like we know Callan's got a lot more in the locker than what he showed today. And Brendan's been playing really well recently as well. Brendan looks like he's just sped it up a little bit and it's just worked absolute wonders. He's just, yeah, that's it. Get a little bit of that going. And yeah, I think we could see a lot of 180s. I think we could see some really good scoring and some big finishes. And I think we'll see a really good scrap. It's probably one of the best ties out there.
And remember, of course, Brendan Dolan made the Players' Championship Finals semi-final 3 weeks ago. So not a bad tournament for him there. What we will see what happens, though, when the two of them meet later on in the week. Moving on, Ian White against Chris Lambert. No, Cam, we'll come to you first on this. And a big shock in this game. Ian White wins a game at the World Championships for the first time in 4 years. Unbelievable scenes, Jeff. Congratulations to him.
It is, and he's made the third round for the third time, I think, in his history of coming here. He's only once been beyond this point. Will he go beyond it this time? Maybe not, but he played well today. Like, let's not take anything away from him. He did actually play fairly well today. He did what he needed to do. Lambert didn't really show up. He didn't play particularly well. But he didn't have to play particularly well first round to get through either. So I think it was just solid from Ian White. It's what you expect from him in this sort of a game, and he's just gone and got it done.
How big is this a win for him, though, God? Because, yes, okay, he's playing Gary Anderson third round. There are easier draws out there. But this is a big win for him to actually get up on the Ali Pali stage and get over the line and win one. In particular, when he's lost a shed ton of money on the rankings.
I think that's the main thing. Ian White's ranking has dropped a bit like a stone this year. He hasn't had the European Tour back to defend an awful lot of what he'd earned. He struggled a little bit with injury, and he hasn't had the most productive year on the floor. We're all aware of Ian White's not so great televised record. So whilst this is big ranking wise, and it gives him a decent little platform to go for next year, I'm not sure it's the be all and end all in Ian White's career. It's just the chance of more money, the chance to play Gary, who you never know in the World Champion. Look, he's made it through. He's got a great record here, but he is not the Gary Anderson of 3, 4, 5 years ago. So yeah, look, it gives Ian White opportunities, but he has to take those opportunities.
Indeed, he does. But he is through into round number 3, and he caught up with the press conference crew, including our own Phil Bars, after his win.
I think we'll send a few messages across to each other, won't we? But I'll be looking forward to it, and I think Gary will as well. I think he'll be on that practice board. You know, I'll do exactly the same. We'll get up there and we'll just play our darts.
Do you believe him when he tells the world he doesn't practice?
No. Not in a million years. No. It hurts me. You wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe how bad that's what it's hurt me watching me go down in rankings. And nothing you can do about it. Just sitting there watching people overtake you. It's just can't do it about it apart from get up there and try and win. And I've gone through now. I've got somebody on my rankings now because I wasn't defending anything.
He's not wrong indeed. 23 in the world he goes up to regard so far in this tournament. And of course, Gary versus Ian White. I have a funny feeling that will be on Wednesday. Oh, sorry, it will be on the Monday, the 27th of December in the evening session. That will be no doubt. Or will be on the Tuesday. I don't know which game it will be, but it will be one of them on the evening session. Right, we're going to move on to this evening's session, and we are going to start, gentlemen, with Rowby John Rodriguez, who has hit the second highest average of the tournament so far against Nick Kenny. Forgive me, because I was trying to do a number of things tonight. Was there any handshake between the two? Was there any acknowledgement? It didn't look like there was.
Can't help you there. I didn't pick up on that. I didn't notice, so I'm not sure.
I'm sure someone in the chat would have seen this. So if there was, let me know. But it looked like Nick Kenny, was fuming after that performance.
I think he was a little bit disappointed. I think it's difficult to judge players on lack of contact, given COVID and the fact they're actively being encouraged not to. So look, unless there's any real animosity and you're pointing in each other's faces, I think it's just there might have been the odd nod or whatever, and etc. But Kenny just looked devastated. I don't think there was any malice in it.
Yeah, I know there wasn't any in the Ted Everts game. They didn't, but that was Ted seemed reluctant to do so, but not out of anything sort of. There's no animosity. He just wasn't.
Malachi says there was an acknowledgement. All right, so that obviously means something potentially would have happened, but who knows? Nick Kenny though has to go back to Q School, but let's talk about the Austrian gob. He was on fire, I thought, tonight. Really, really good stuff, in my opinion. Really, really good. He hit 3 180s. Yes, it was a 9-21 of the checkouts, but his scoring power was vast tonight. 9 140 pluses in the game. He looks in a really good state, and more importantly than that, he's got Luke Humphries. Who, yes, okay, he's made the World Cup final before. Yes, Luke Humphries, I understand that, but there's something about Rowby John at the moment that I'm really, really intrigued by. I can't wait. I can't wait for this game. Really can't wait for this game.
When Rowby John first made his breakthrough into the mainstream PDC from the development tour, he's always had a very good ceiling. He's always had a very, very high ceiling game. He's able of producing ridiculous things. It was just the lack of a B game and the consistency. This year, despite not having a tour card, somehow he's bringing that B game. His consistency level has gone up. His bad games are a lot better than they were 2-3 years ago, which just makes him all round far more competitive than he was. Superb run at the World Cup with Mensur Suljovic. Obviously, that helps every year. Although that spot may well be under threat from his brother next year. But yeah, look, he was superb in the performance, and he's been superb all year and handled it really well, because look, there could have been plenty of players that were rightfully miffed after the countback system at Q School last year.
Marcus talked about there why Rowby John Rodriguez is ahead of Scott Waits. He's on countback because Rowby John Rodriguez has played in the World Championships and Scott Waits hasn't. And we talked about a certain Queen of the Palace potentially, Cam, winning her tour card without having to go to Q School, without being a tour card holder. Rowby John's in the same boat, 62nd in the world right now. He'll get himself a tour card.
He is, and like you say, it's a really good scrap, that next one that he's got coming up, isn't it? And he could very easily go and win that, and then that probably I would have thought would be enough for him to
easily would be enough.
So yeah, I thought he was really, really good today. I mean, like you say, if you include the 180s in, there's 12 scores of 140 plus in 10 legs. Like, that's the thing. There was only 10 legs in that game. He was that comfortable and dominant in it. It just was on another level. And I think he's probably, we know he's got more than that as well. He can go a level above that as well. So dangerous for anyone he plays, and whoever gets through that game with him and Luke Humphries is going to have to play really, really well.
We'll stay with you, Cam, and we will touch on this game now between Jim Williams and Ted Everts. As we said, it took Ted 17, I think, at one stage. Was it 19? I don't know. I think it was 2 of 19 on the checkouts after the second set. And Jim Williams, fair play to him, took advantage. But after winning that World Youth Championship, it would have been a massive thing for Ted as well, coming back to the place of Alexandra Palace, where the moment took place against Fallon Sherrock for him to go and win this game. And it felt like at times he froze up there a little bit tonight, I thought, personally.
Yeah, I completely agree. He still looked very much like he was clearly dealing with something of sort of the hangover from what happened against Fallon up there, because let's not try and dress it up. He was absolutely awful on the outer ring in the first two sets. He couldn't have been any worse for most of it, because I think he was 0 from 15 at one point. And then it seemed to click in for him after that second set, and he looked like he might make a little fight back. He won the next set after that, and all of a sudden he looked comfortable on the outer ring and looked like everything was going to go in, but then Jim just outlasted him, which fair play to him, because to be honest, he played with 2 darts for most of that match. That's something that he definitely needs to sort out before his next game, because there was a dart on the floor almost every single visit, and it looked like the other 2 might fall out every time.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the moment I think that the game changed back in the favour of Williams, Gob, was when the set was level at 1 apiece. At the 4th set, at least after Ted had just hit a 113 average, when he broke the Williams throw, and Williams broke back straight away. In the next leg, when he could have broken his throw, an 80 out shot, he misses tops for it. Williams then takes out the 120 to go within a leg of the match. 2 starts next leg from Everts to go and send us to a last leg decider in the 4th set, and Williams cleans it up. That 120, I think, was the killer moment of Ted just going, I've left myself too much to do here. But full credit to Jim Williams. You know, he's a UK Challenge Tour winner, can go on the tour if he wants to. And of course, as Chris Beaton and Paul Nicholson have been saying all night on TalkSport 2, the Live League winner. Again, a Live League participant doing well. Mental, isn't it?
Funny how that happens. Yeah, look, good result for Jim. Not so much the performance. Obviously, fortunate that Ted's doubling was what it was. Will 100% have to raise his game for the next round. Going to be honest, I'm not convinced by Jim Williams' mentality. Didn't really look comfortable up there. Hasn't really looked comfortable in any PDC performance he's put in. And to some extent, every time I've ever seen him, he always looks a little bit edgy, a little bit like he's not comfortable or not settled. His darts go in at the most ridiculous angles. I think part of that is the grip, and part of that is that he just floats them in. There's no real force behind the action. And it makes him a little bit vulnerable. And look, there's been discussions about how he had to talk himself into taking that tour card next year. Not convinced that's the best move for him if that's the way he's going to approach it. If he struggles to start the year, could be in a lot of trouble, and then you've committed and that sort of thing. So look, I think he's got more work to do. He can go away and get himself ready for the next round. But I think after that, there would and could be some more thinking time for Jim Williams as well.
Yeah, Jim Williams, though, coming through in the end. He takes on Callan in the next round. We're going to move on, though. God will stay with you. Adam Hunt against Boris Kuchma. This was an interesting game again. I got a message through saying Adam Mickey Mouse at one stage. What the bloody hell was going on there? Because I missed the walk-on.
He had a little Mickey Mouse toy that he was holding up as he started his walk on, just to jump in there, because God looked like he had no idea what he was talking about either. So just not sure what that was about. I don't know what the thing was with it, but yeah, I think he took it up on stage with him.
Well, it didn't really matter what it looked like. 5 180s, 1500 pluses. 9 of 26 on the checkouts means that the average has dropped to 89.2. If the checkout percentage was decent, it would have been mid-90s comfortably, Cam. Boris just couldn't quite buy a double again as well. 4 of 13 on the checkouts. It just didn't quite click for the big Croat, and he's going to have to go back to Q school.
Well, yeah, he is, and he's really, really struggling at the moment. I've been saying all day in the lead up to this match that with our friends at BoyleSports, the best bet of the day was absolutely lumping on Adam Hunt at even money to beat Boris, who had lost 8 competitive matches in a row, and which is part of why he's going to have to go back to Q school.
We'll say that.
Nine.
I have to say, he's 59th in the world. 50 grand. I don't know whether that's going to be enough.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it will be. He might just about save his card.
Yeah,
But I'm not too
I think
sure.
he's all right. Just.
But anyway, it's going to be tight. He's going to be on that bubble. There's no doubt about that. Another good performance for Adam Hunt. Remember, he made the 3rd round here last year. Of course, as we said, beat Yozza in that one. And he will take on, in the next round, I'm just trying to find out where he is, Vincent van der Voort, which is an interesting tie, Gob. I reckon he could win that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, needs to up it a little bit. But look, Adam has had a decent couple of years on TV. He's another one that has come through the development tour, has built his game up, and he's competitive. And the biggest thing that these guys are learning is to win ugly or win with B games and don't have to produce their A games all the time. And Adam Hunt is another player that's been away and done that. And if he does produce his A game, we know he's very dangerous.
Moving on, and the last match of the night, which was Michael van Gerwen against Chaz Barstow. And this is an interesting one for me, gentlemen. God, we will come to you first. You have been rightly talking about how Michael van Gerwen... No, we're not. No. First of all, Sky TV.
Here we go.
Change the promo. Change the bloody promo for MVG. You muted me. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you do that? First of all, right? Biggest problem. No one has ever said that he would never win anything. No one has ever said that. Anyone with half a brain cell could tell you that no one's going to win anything. Also, that he's going to win something. Also, when they say I can be beaten, you clearly can be. You haven't won a ranking title in over a year. So that's
Televised ranking.
Televised ranking title.
No, televised ranking title. Sorry, on Telebox, you ain't in a ranking title. So just change it for God's sake. Right, moving on. Okay, Gob, you have been saying for nearly over 2 years that Michael van Gerwen is in a bit of crisis. For the back end of 2019, you were wrong. Till March 2020, you were also wrong because he made a World Championship final, then won the UK Open. Since then, though, I will concede you're not too bad at predicting this.
I just preempted it. I see it coming. There were chinks.
Your thoughts on this, though, because that first set aside and the outer ring aside, the scoring power's there. The outer ring was bobbins.
I actually think Yamada got this one bang on commentary throughout the day. Michael van Gerwen panicked at all of the wrong times. Panicked in the first set when there was absolutely no need to panic, and then looked as calm as anything in the second set when he was potentially a leg away. Was it a leg or was it 2 legs away from being 2 sets down, and he produced the goods.
The 130 Cam was the big one, wasn't it? The 130 that Chaz misses to then go
double 5. I thought that was going as well. It just looked, you just fancied it to go after the 116 had gone earlier as well. You just thought this is going here because they were so perfect the 2 treble 20s as well.
Yeah, but going back to it, Gob, big moment that he's come through at least. Not the best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but he's come through, and he will now play Chris Dobie or Rich Rodriguez or Ben Robb, which isn't a bad draw to get, I'll be honest.
Chris Dobie bashes him.
Ooh.
I've been saying it all week.
I can't wait until MVG beats him 4-0 just to see your face on the wall.
Yeah, I'd like Chris Dobie, and he's very, very good when he's on his day, but he's not winning that.
Anyway.
Sorry about that. I just want a quick word on Barstow. Excellent.
Yes,
look, he was really looking forward to the moment, and I think perhaps maybe got the approach to it a little bit wrong. The fact that he was just looking forward to the moment and playing Michael van Gerwen up on that stage, etc. He's a quality dart player, and he showed that in the first set. He mopped up all of the opportunities that van Gerwen gave him. Another one that has forged his game in the live league throughout the year. But ultimately, that's the difference between the top guys and those just below, or that are building their game among it. Chaz is very, very steady, very consistent. but he was always just a dart away. You always felt like he was a treble away in every leg to really put Michael under pressure as the game wore on. The first set, he stayed within touching distance enough, but it was very much like when Gerwen Price was under it the other night, and Ricky Evans against Darryl Gurney. You're not going to produce them 1-4-6s constantly to keep you within touching distance. You have to score consistently. You have to give yourself the easy chances as well as taking out those big shots at the right moments. And look, Chaz will learn from that. He doesn't have a tour. He didn't have a tour card last year. Been super consistent. So yeah, but a good test for Michael van Gerwen. Another one that faces a pretty big gap between now and his next game, which I'm not sure is the best thing for him. I think he's another player that at the moment needs match practice to keep him going, very much like a Gary Anderson type.
When you think about it, Chris Dobie's game against Rydz Jacob Ben Roll will be the last round 2 game before the break. So if they play on the Monday or the Tuesday night, which, let's be honest about it, MVG plays on an evening session. No matter what, I don't know what one it will be, but it'll be an evening session. That'll be a massive help for
so the only have a 3-day gap. And
yes. But let's hear from
third highest average on the Pro Tour this year. But yeah.
But MVG's averaged over 100 throughout the entire season.
Don't you worry about my mate Chris, mate. Especially now Callan's giving him jib.
You're the best walk-on in darts, yeah?
Yeah, great walk-on song, Chris. Superb.
Let's hear from Michael van Gerwen. Now, I'll be honest with you, viewers and listeners, we don't know what MVG's about to say. However, our colleague Philip Bars has said, and I quote, "Get your popcorn out." Here it is.
He's got one thing right, and that's playing me in the final, but the other thing is absolute nonsense. Absolutely. We all know we all know he's full of himself, but deep in his heart he knows. Yeah, when I'm playing if I play my game, they're all dependent on me, and no one can they're not even allowed to stand in my shadow.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
Good.
Michael, you mentioned about the sacrifices for.
How pleased he is with himself. Look how pleased he is with himself.
I presume he's talking about Peter Snakebite Ride.
No.
No, he's talking about Gerwen Price.
Gerwen Price.
Oh, is he? Oh, right.
I'm waiting for a nod from the guy in the background. It's Gerwen Price.
Right.
Price said he would beat him in the final, didn't he? I think before the.
I didn't hear that. Sorry, I didn't hear that interview. Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting. This. Daft. Stupid.
Yes. Can I just say very, very quickly, we chastise Peter Wright for saying stuff like this. And if that was Peter Wright who came out of this saying that, we'd all be going, what the bloody hell are you doing? We said that most of last year. And now MVG, who has not won a ranking televised title this year, is saying that Darcy's nicked good. If you get lucky, mate.
My issue with it is he's probably not wrong in that he says when he plays his best game that no one can probably live with him. I think we all probably agree if he plays his best game, he's very difficult to live with and not many people ever beat him. But the issue is when has he done that in the last 2 years? When has he consistently, week in, week out, or game in, game out, when we look at the Premier League or whatever we look at, when has he put 2 performances together back to back at any point? Or when has he consistently played at his best level? He hasn't.
The only time I can think of was towards the back end of the Premier League this year. And even then, Johnny Clayton beat him with a 1-2-4 checkout that turned the game on its head in the semi-final. First time I've ever been beaten at a semi. But I agree with you. It seems rather silly to say something like this.
He's got to go and back it up, hasn't he? He's got to do what Peter Wright did and say something stupid and go and do it.
Forgive me for saying this. He's not reached a ranking final this year, has he?
He's reached a televised final in which he nearly lost to Fallon Sherrock.
But he hasn't reached a televised final on the telly box in the rankings.
Not a ranking one, no. It's just the Nordic Darts Masters, which he.
Oh, European Championship. Excuse me, sorry.
Which he lost.
Thanks, Philip.
But he was crap in that final.
Yeah, he lost to Rob Cross.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that the European Championships are an actual tournament. But Rob Cross is in the Premier League for it. What do we know? Let's see where MBG will end up against either Christopher Russi, Jake Rodriguez, or Ben Robb. But we are going to go and preview day number 5 in the Big Brother house. That's going to be tomorrow. The evening session, by the way, not just because of the obvious game, but the German derby is an absolute belter, and I can't wait to talk about that. Tugboat,
no.
Has Gob taken over your has the Tungsten Toff taken over your keyboard, mate?
Tug knows literally nothing else, but Tug knows.
Mike Koivunen against Kai Smith starts us off tomorrow. I am intrigued by this game because Mike Koivunen can play well at times, can play absolute garbage at times, and I don't really know much about Kai Smith, but if he's anything like his dad, we could be in for a really good game. Gob, where are you going first?
Good question. I'm going to say we get the father-son progressing.
Really?
Yeah. Look, Koivunen's had a steady year, not an excellent year.
Are you just saying that because you want Kai Smith against James Wade?
Not scared of anyone.
Are you saying that just because you want Kai Smith against James Wade?
No, I just think that he's just not scared of anyone. The new generation are just not bothered about anybody's reputation or what they've done or what they're capable of doing. They're going to get up, play their game, and I think Kai Smith is another one of those.
Cam, where are we going?
Yeah, I'm glad you went to Gob first on this one. I know literally probably less than you about Kai Smith, other than the fact that he was the happiest man in the room tonight when his dad won.
Yes, that is true.
So, well, it wasn't tonight.
I think they might have agreed to split their prize money.
Yeah, but I'm on the same thing, that if he's cut from the same cloth as his dad is, he's solid on the outer ring, scores pretty well, and wins. I don't know what score. 3-2. I should make it up.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll go with Mike Koivunen 3-1, purely because I know a little bit more about Mike. I know nothing about Kai Smith, but Juanita's going with Kai Smith 3-1. Surprise, surprise, back in the Aussies. A load of people as well going with Smith as well. A couple of other people in the chat room. Koivunen 3-0 for Brandon. Make sure you get your predictions in. The Aussies are taking over the Sunday afternoon session. It feels wrong that they're playing at 12:30 when no one's going to be up really in Australia apart from Juanita. As they take,
the army might be awake, drowning our sorrows.
Yeah, it's only the same as us. Yeah, it's just
the Barney Army. The Barney Army will still be saying unconditional support. Please buy our merchandise after a day of lacking.
We should probably, to be fair, just hope for an Aussie loss, and we'll
England could get rolled over tomorrow for 70 all out, and the Barmy Army Twitter account will still be back the lads, unconditional support. By the way, here's our merchandise that we're selling in this pub. Come and get it. Anyway, moving on. Gordon Mathers is in, obviously replacing Juan Rodriguez from Spain, who unfortunately tested positive for COVID. He takes on Jason Heaver, who has been very, very, very good this year, been very consistent. I'm going to go first on this for once, and I'm going to back Jason Heaver, not because of Gordon being an Aussie, but I just think that Jason Heaver is the better player. I think he's been very, very good so far this season, very consistent on the Pro Tour, finished 15th on the Order of Merit, and I think that he's really played well in his first year as a tour card holder. So I'm going to go Jason Heaver 3-1. Cam, your decision as well, please.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you on this one. Like you say, he has been very consistent, and I think he'll probably just have a little bit too much. I think it'll be close though. I think 3-2. I don't think we're going to see. I think we're going to see more competitive games tomorrow than we saw today. I think we're going to see a few. There's quite a few up there that are going to be pretty close. So yeah, 3-2.
Rob.
You know, yesterday it was just a really long session.
Yes.
This is the game in the session that goes long. I think the others actually go pretty quick, but this is the game in the session that takes a while. And I think Heaver wins 3-2.
Moving on. Alan Souza against Diogo Portela. Third game on. Now, Diogo Portela obviously beating Steve Beaton last year with the only night with fans at the World Darts Championship. Alan Souza started his Pro Tour career brilliantly, made the last 16 in the UK Open, and since then he's gone sort of like that. Not, to be fair, not dropping like a stone, but he's gone a little bit like that. He hasn't really been performing since that brilliant start to his PDC career. Gob, however, saying this though, I'd still make him favourite against Diogo Portela, who we haven't really seen much of again because South American darts isn't exactly on the rise at this moment in time, particularly in Brazil, where there's a few COVID issues there, let's put it that way.
No, but what is on the rise is the Live League, and he has played in that a little bit. Been glimpses of Diogo. Look, there are glimpses of his A game, but I'm not sure if he turns up with anything other than his A game. He beats Alan Souza tomorrow. Souza's had a very, very good year. We've seen he's putting in the practice, been working a lot with Sean McDonald, who plays at quite a similar pace to Diogo at times as well. So look, that will all benefit him as well. I'm going to go 3-1 to Souza in this one. I think Diogo pinches a set. He seems to love that stage up there. And look, you put him in front of a TV camera, Diogo seems to do something every single time. But yeah, I'm going 3-1 Souza.
Cameron?
Yeah, I think Diogo stole our hearts last year with his win, didn't he? And his reaction to the win. I'd love to see it again. Just as much the fact that he's just quite entertaining, isn't he? And he's got a new joke every day on Twitter. He's quite fun to follow.
I would encourage them.
Everyone loves a dad joke. But yeah, I think he gets a set. But I think that's it. I think Souza wins 3-1.
I hope he tries to dab a 180 if he's just nowhere near.
Stephen Bunting against Ross Smith rounds off the afternoon session. Really good game this. I'm really intrigued by this. Bunting loves the set play format, clearly. I mean, former Lakeside champion, there's no doubt about that, but made the last 4 of the World Championships last year, was leading Gerwen Bryce at one stage 4 sets to 3 in the semi-final, and made the semi-final of the World Grand Prix where he played, I think he played Gezi as well, didn't he? Yeah, because it was Clayton versus Noppy, wasn't it? So, so he played Gezi a couple of times. He isn't actually, I don't think, in the same section as Gezi. He is actually. He's in the same section as Gezi. He's 16 seed, so we would play him in the last 16. So I don't know what it is for Stephen Bunting, the poor bloke, but he just seems to get Gerwen Bryce potentially all the way. But in order to do that, he's got to get past a Ross Smith, who has won a Pro Tour, same as Bunting this year, back in the winner's circle. This is an intriguing matchup, Cameron, I think. And I don't know where I'm going. But do you?
Yeah, it is an intriguing matchup. I think this will be a really good game, and I think it will be a tie game. And I think that Ross Smith wins 3-2. I think he just looks more and more comfortable on the stage. He's got that scoring power that he can live with anyone when he's on. And we see not to be biased at all, but we see the Online Darts logo go into the next round.
Jordan, it's not the first sudden death of the year, buddy, unfortunately. No, it is. No, I apologise. Yes, it would be.
Yes,
of course. It can go, the tiebreaker can go to 6-5. Absolutely. Yes, it can do. Definitely. My apologies. I think it's round 2. Gob, where are you going?
I actually like the call from Jordan. I think this one goes all the way. They can both match each other with the 180 scoring power. They're both able to bang in that big finish. The curse of Ross Smith on the European Tour, you can threaten a 9-darter, as can Stephen Bunting. And that will be the 3rd of the tournament. I've got a banging headline for when that happens, by the way. Can't wait for that. But that being said, I think Bunting pinches it in a last set.
See, I don't know. I think Bunting wins this, and I think he wins it 3-1. For me, he's playing some good stuff in set play. He knows how to get over those deciding legs, and I think he will go through and will still only lose that 1 seed, who is a different animal. Moving on to Martin Kleermaker.
I just realised as well that when I called in the Polish pigeon before, it's not a good analogy really, because pigeons actually deliver.
It's almost as if Gob's fuming. I love it. He's
so desperate to nibble right now, isn't he?
He really is. Oh, God. Gob. Bring him back. Can
we get moving on, by the way? There's 5. We've been online in an hour again.
Yes, we are going to hope to get inside the hour. Martin Kleermaker against John Michael. Look, I love me some John Michael. I love me the walk-on. I think it's brilliant. However, he's not a very good darts player. Certainly not at the moment. Martin wins this 3-0. He's just not.
Oh.
At the moment, he's been bobbins.
I can't do this every night for another 13 days.
You can't put us three together.
Oh, name me a time at this moment in the last 2-3 years that he's actually been decent.
Gibraltar, 2019.
Congratulations, once.
Yeah, but you weren't expecting the one.
It was one more than you were thinking.
No big starter, so let's crack on. That being said, Kleermaker wins this one 3-1.
Cameron,
3-0 Kleermaker.
Thank you. Right, this though, I want to move on quickly from that game because I'm with the best one in the world, not interested. This game, this next one is fantastic. Florian Hempel, Martin Schindler. Give me the German derby. I can't wait for this. I'm very, 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 very excited. There's that many berries. I feel like I'm very.co.uk at this moment in time. Florian Hempel against Martin Schindler. Really excited for this game. I've got no idea where it's going to go because I frigging love me some Hempel. And Shindiggity's in my fantasy team. And he's been playing some really good stuff, particularly down at the Slam. I'm going to go with Schindler winning this one. I'm going to go say Schindler wins this 3-2 in a classic, an all-time classic.
Yeah, you go first.
I am. Because I'm hosting, so bugger off. Cameron.
I love how you call him Shindiggity and I just refer to him as Augustus Gloop as well, but yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, I'm having Schindler as well. Schindler's never lost to Florian Hempel, just as to drop that in there. So,
since when do you do bloody research?
I just taking it
It
seriously
ain't that
these days.
It's like that TikTok page. This ain't that kind of show.
I know. I've started doing research.
Probably just don't start telling us how big each of the players' tackles are. We'll be all right.
Started doing research. I've stopped turning up absolutely wallops every time I come on.
What's going on?
Schindler 3-1.
Gob.
Hempel 3-1.
Ooh, interesting. Right. There's another another game on, is there? In the round one? Steve Beaton plays some player. I don't know. We haven't heard much about Fallon Sherrock, have we? There's not been enough talked about it, I don't think. Sky need to mention it more. Actually, no. They actually would mention it more if I said that, so definitely don't do that. Look, the Queen returns to the Palace. This is the match that casuals will be watching. I'm sure that we're going to get some decent figures for this game against Steve Beaton. And if Steve Beaton, he will get booed, no doubt, in the Alexandra Palace Hall, but should not be. He's a bloody legend. And it's another reason to hate the crowd. Having said that, though, I'm very unsure on this game, but Cameron seems to be. So I'm going to let you go first, mate. Go on.
Yeah, so we all love Steve Beaton. Steve Beaton's fantastic. We weren't sure that Steve Beaton would come back again this year after last year. We thought it might have been his last go. If anyone's not going to be bothered, whether the crowd get on his back or not, it's going to be Steve Beaton. He's been there 100,000 times. He's not going to care one little bit. That being said, the Queen continues to reign and she wins 3-1.
Gob.
Didn't get it ready in time. Damn it.
What are you trying to get?
I was gonna wear my pink hoodie as well again, but it's in the wash.
Just a picture that says, I think I'm in love.
Oh, we're beaten. We're beaten, I presume.
No, just for Cam, for Fallon.
All right.
Stevie Beaton stays alive. We were worried about losing his talk at the start of the year, and he goes out and produces. Slash Uno 3-1.
I think Fallon wins, and I think she wins 3-2, and we get more of a discussion about Fallon Sherrock potentially winning her tour card through the order of merit. I know we're all very looking forward to that.
Can I point out, by the way, that the game that Fallon needs to win her tour card,
yes,
would also open the door. Victory for her would secure her tour card and open the door for Peter Wright to be world number 1, because if Price makes it past that round, he cannot be caught.
Yes. And I know, actually, yes, she'd have to beat Gerwen Price. Yes, she would do. Because otherwise, yes, because Barney at the moment's on £46,000, so it's very, very interesting. Yes, indeed, she will. But I'm sure the talk will still be made by Sky Sports. That's how we go. Anyway, final game. Really intrigued by this game, actually, because Johnny Clayton has won the most TV titles over anybody this year. He takes on Barry Keane, or Keane Barry if you're new to the channel. I'm quite intrigued by this game, I think, because, Gob, Clayton is obviously a different animal on television this year. However, he's also got a horrendous record at the Palace.
Yeah, but he had a horrendous record in most places before last year, and then the man just wins TV titles like he's taking candy at Halloween, for Christ's sake. Just helps himself to whatever he wants. I think he wins tomorrow. I'm not sure he wins this title. I genuinely think that is a conversation to be had. I'm not sure Johnny goes all the way at this one. I thought if he was going to pick up another title this year, it would have been the Players' Championships.
I agree.
That being said, I think he beats Keane Barry, and I think he beats him 3-1. I'm not sure we see Johnny Clayton going and rampage 105 and 50-60% on the doubles that we know he's more than capable of. Possibly see that for a set, but I think Keane Barry will pinch 3-1.
Cameron, final prediction today?
I'm not sure Barry Keane gets a set in this. I was massively unimpressed with his first round game, and I just think that Johnny Clayton, like we say, it doesn't matter what his previous record is on this stage, because that Johnny Clayton and this Johnny Clayton are not the same person. Basically, any of his record before the last 2 years, you might as well just wipe it clean and just not even think about it. So I think he'll go up there, he'll do a professional job, he'll probably average about 97, 98, a couple of ton pluses, and he'll win 3-0 pretty comfortably.
I think 3-1. I'm going with Gob. I think Clayton does beat Keane Barry 3-1. But Barry Keane, I think, will get a set. And gentlemen, that is where we're going to leave the Fallout Bar for tonight. Jack Gobby Garwood, Cameron Farley, thank you very much for joining us. And also Philip Bars, the chat, is also trying to stoke the fire of Fallon in the Premier League. If you want to watch Matt Porter's thoughts on this, you can do already. It's on the YouTube channel. Where we are right now. So when we finish off here and sign off in just a moment, make sure that you go straight over, or stay on our YouTube channel actually, and watch all the interviews that we've got for the day, including the whole thing about Michael van Gerwen. And Philip Barr says that she's in. I don't know whether that's his thought process or whether that is that he's got the inside knowledge. We will talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit later on into the week. But as I say, stay on our YouTube channel. Go and have a look at all the interviews that we've done for today. There are 8 there for you, so join us for that. Or if you're listening as a podcast, go on to our YouTube channel, just search Online Darts TV, and you will be able to find us. We will be back tomorrow and around about 11 o'clock when we will know if Fallon Sherrock will be into the second round of the World Darts Championship, whether it be Steve Beaton there, Johnny Clayton, Keane Barry, Florian Hempel, Martin Schindler, and some other game I'm not interested in. That will be the big game tomorrow. Very, very excited about Florian Hempel against Martin Schindler. And an afternoon session as well containing a BDO World Champion as well. NBG powers past Barstow on day 4 of the World Championships. Lavanevskis' lucky streak continues with a 9-darter. That's as lucky as it gets, though, as he loses to Mike Decker. Raul John Rodriguez is the second highest average of the tournament to defeat Nick Kenny. You've also got Ian White beating Chris Landman 3-1 for his first World Championship win in 4 years. Also through today, in all the action are Callan Rydz. Raymond Smith coming through 3-1 against Jamie Hughes for his first win at the World Championships as well. And Ted Everts losing 3-1 to Jim Williams in that one. And Adam Hunt beating Boris Kuchma 3-0. Thank you very much if you've been watching with us live tonight. Thanks again as well for listening to the show as a podcast. As I say, we'll be back tomorrow at around about the same time. As soon as play finishes, you can join us late night for a Sunday session of double darting drama as we continue with the World Darts Championship. Thanks again to our friends at BoyleSports for sponsoring the show and for sponsoring our World Darts Championship coverage. I've been Jonathan Theaton for Jack Gobbigar with Cam McFarlane. We will see you soon. Take care. A very good evening.